Welcome to the Blade Lab. Today I'm going to be continuing a relatively new series of edge retention tests. I did one recently comparing two Spyderco tenacious knives in M4 steel, sharpened at 12 degrees and 18 degrees to see which edge maintained better. And I'm going to be continuing that today, but this time using a couple Victorinox 6-inch utility knives. This is a relatively inexpensive kitchen knife. I believe they cost about 26 bucks. You can get them on Amazon. They don't actually list what the steel is. It's some kind of Swiss stainless steel. I believe they say it's cryo-treated. So it's going to be, a decent steel, but not anything to write home about. So I'll be curious to see how the 12 degree edge does compared to the 17 degrees, in this case, edge. As before, the 12 degree edge sharpened to a little bit higher level than the 17 degree edge. In this case, the 12 degree edge after stropping came in at 65 grams BESS on the BESS tester, very, very sharp, and the 17 degree edge came in at 85 grams on the BESS tester. So not quite as sharp, but still very sharp. More than probably about 250% sharper than the average factory fresh edge. So it'll be interesting to see how the this sort of softer and probably more tougher steel does compared to the M4. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is do the same number of cuts of into half-inch manila rope, which is pretty abrasive and kind of hard to cut usually. And then I'm going to do maybe about 10 slices of a dense sort of cardboard material. And then I'm going to measure the sharpness at the end. So let's see what we got. I have conveniently, let me flip my LCD around so I can see what I'm doing. Apologize for the delay. Okay. It's upside down, but at least I can see what's going on. So, okay. If you can see, where is this? I don't know if that's going to work. Hard to focus on reflective objects. Anyway, I have marked the blades. Hopefully you can see them now, 12 and 17 degrees to keep them straight. We'll start out with the 12 degree knife and cut away. So I think I did 14 slices using the other knives, so I'll try to do the same thing. I'm also going to try to use this same section kind of in the middle here. So let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me go up here. Just clean that up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's getting a little tougher. 13, 14. Okay. And now let's do the same thing with the 17 degree edge. 1. Come on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, This is considerably tougher than anything you'll be typically cutting in the kitchen. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Cool. Sweep this all over here for the moment. Okay, and now as before, we have this sort of high density, very thin but very tough cardboard, which I purchased from Amazon, like the knives. Could have used some sort of cardboard that came in the mail, but you know that's not consistent in density and abrasiveness. So I'm trying to find something that I could do across multiple tests, and it would be a consistent medium. So this is what I chose. I think I was able to do like 10 slices out of one of these pieces the last time, so I'll aim for the same thing. And maybe the last piece I'll just cut up in the short direction. So I'm cutting across the grain of this cardboard, and let's get started. I'll try to do the same rough area that I was using earlier. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, don't want to cut a finger off, 10, and then we'll just do like 1, 2, 3, 4 will do. Okay, so that, now I've lost my marking on that, but I'll be able to tell, I think, from the size of the edge bevel, where I can put it back on the laser goniometer. So this is, actually, let me just remark them so we don't have to mess around too much. So we'll call this 12, okay. That was not good. Anyway, that's 12. And let's go to the 17. So, yeah, we're going in this direction. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Okay, so let's check our results. Might as well mark this one too. 17. We run over here and grab the best tester. Okay. Let's see if I can situate this so you can see it. Which may not be the easiest thing where the camera is located. I'm just going to do it like this, I think, and then I'll just turn it so you can see the result. All right, and so I'm gonna test it right in this area here, which is kind of central to where we were cutting. Maybe do a couple different readings, which is always a good idea with the best tester. I'm going to do this as always, as slowly as I can, because you don't want to do it too fast or you will get a false result. Okay, so the result of a 17 degree edge is 265. Let me make sure you can see that. So that's quite a jump from 85, but it's, you know, again, it's a cheap steel, relatively speaking. I would not expect it to perform as well as the Spyderco M4, and it certainly did not. But, you know, I say it was two, well, I can't remember. I'm going to have to go back and look at it. Yeah, 265, I guess. Yeah, so that's, I mean, 265 is still a relatively sharp knife. You know, certainly, I mean, you could, it's probably sharper than 95% of the knives in most people's kitchens, if not more. Okay, so let's, oh, I should do that. Yeah, let me do one more test on the 17. So I'll test it a little bit lower, maybe. Okay, that came in at 320. So that's considerably worse than 265, but again, still, you know, a decent working edge. I should probably write these down for myself, just so we know what we're doing. So, sorry for doing this off camera. 17 degrees came in at 265 and 320 for later discussion. Okay, reset that, reset the filament, and let's see what the 12 degree did. I'm really curious about this one. I've follow some professional knife sharpeners on YouTube, and they seem to consistently sort of have the opinion that higher edge angle gives better edge retention for their customers. They may be right, I don't know, but let's see what this test says. So I'm going to test the same general area where we were doing most of the cutting, and see what we get. Well, looks like the sharpeners are right, because that came in at 415. So that is approaching kind of dull. So it may be that, you know, your high quality steels can handle the lower edge angles, and your sort of garden, Amazon variety, inexpensive kitchen knives just can't. Maybe just don't have the edge stability, they're too soft. So I'm going to try one more reading in a little bit lower. Well, let me just go to a slightly different area. Oh, wait a minute. That one came in at 110. So we obviously have to do a few more tests there. It's possible that, you know, there could have been a particularly like a nick or something that I tested on the first one, or on the second one, maybe I was just outside of the area where I was doing most of the cutting. So let me go a little bit lower. All right. I'll test it right about here. And going super slowly. Okay, well, see, that one came in at 165. Curious, very curious. 165. So I've already forgotten what the first one was because I'm an idiot. But I know it was over 400. I'm going to start writing these down, and I'm going to. So 12 degrees. We got 400 plus, I'll say for now. 110 and 165. And I'm going to do one more. It's because we've gotten such a divergent reading. Da-da. So if it's, if the 110, 165 reading is accurate, then that's pretty darn good. We're curious, just looking at the edge, see if I can see a shiny spot. I don't. All right, I'm just going to do one more. I'll do it about right here or thereabouts. I think we were doing some cutting there. And that came in at 120. Okay. So interesting. And I think what I will also do while we're here, I didn't do in the first test, is also just do a sort of general paper cut test, just to, because that'll give you some idea. If you have a catch like in the blade somewhere, this is basically what a lot of these other people doing these tests use basically as their main criteria to see when to stop testing. And Pete from Cedric and Ada's YouTube channels specifically. So this is the 17 degree edge. I'm just gonna, this is really hard to cut paper. I might go to just copy paper after this, because this is, yeah, so there's definitely a catch there on the 17 when we get to the area where we started cutting with this paper. But this, yeah, so this is the U-line catalog, which is what I use myself, because it's super thin and you really have to be quite sharp in order to cut through that paper. So let me go to, I think what most people use is just kind of more like typical sort of copy paper, which is easier to cut. I think it's less of a, I don't think it's as good a measure just because it is easier to cut usually, but for this purpose, let me see what it looks like. So just copy paper. Yeah, cuts regular copy paper fine. It's rough. It's got a little, let me go back over here. Yeah, there's a catch there for sure. But it will cut. All right. So 12 degree edge. Let's see. This will be the more interesting one since it purports to be sharp. So there is a little catch, but and maybe that's where that 400 plus reading was coming from. Like right there. But if I just, if you just push through it, it will still cut. I mean, it's still a sharp knife, I would think. By most kitchen cooks' reckoning. Yeah, so that's where it gets a little bit rough over here. right about there. However, it does still cut. Let's try the U-line paper on this one. 17, as you saw, the 17-degree knife didn't cut this worth a damn. And this one, you know, makes it until we catch that. Well, you can actually get through the area. You can see where the problem is. Okay. Just feeling it to see if there's a roll here. Feels like it may have rolled a bit right in this area where it's catching. Where's the 17? It doesn't feel rolled. It's probably just you know, where worn, you know, as opposed to an actual roll or chip or something. Feeling for chips. No chips. Just running my fingernail down. Yeah, I don't feel any chips on this one either. So that is the result. So what would I say about that? I would say that the 12-degree edge performed better than the 7-degree edge, even though it may have, you know, one sort of rough spot. I think in terms of actually cutting, you know, vegetables and meat in the kitchen, I think it will, in the condition that they are in now, I think the 12-degree edge will perform, I think, fairly significantly better than the 17-degree edge, you know, where we did all that wear. So, but obviously with the caveat that there's a worse spot perhaps on this one than there is on the 17-degree. They would both strop up quite easily to be razor sharp again. So that's what I have for you today. Thanks for taking the time, and until next time. Okay, sorry, I know I'd signed off, but there was one thing that I wanted to do, and I forgot to do, which is specifically with kitchen knives. They can be, if you're a sharpener and you sharpen for your family, you're probably aware that people don't always treat these things as well as they should in terms of you know, cutting technique or cutting, you know, people may use them to cut on a, you know, porcelain plate or a granite countertop. If that's the case, yeah, it doesn't matter what angle you sharpen at or what kind of steel you're using, it's going to destroy the edge. Thankfully, I have managed to break my wife of that habit. She is the cook in the house. She's a great cook. But yeah, she did that for a long time. It took me a while, but we finally got her to stop doing that. But what she does still do, and she frankly refuses to stop doing, is this. So you're chopping on the board, right? This is the, I'm going to do this with both knives. This is the 12-degree knife. So you're chop, chop, chop. You got your whatever. Okay, and then, so you have a bunch of food here, and then she does this to collect it, right? So it's like, okay, there's my pile of onions that are here. Not a good thing for the edge, but you see it happen all the time. So I want to see what the effect is of that on both of these edges, because you would think that the thinner edge on the 12-degree would suffer more from it. So let's just we'll kind of try to do the same thing. We'll chop, 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 chop. And we'll scoop our onions back over here. Maybe we'll move them over here. Oh, let's get a little pile over here. Okay. All right. So let's see what that did to our edges. I'm super curious about that. Bringing back Mr. Best Tester. string this. When you string this thing, you know, this is one point of variance in the test, is how tightly you string it. I find it doesn't make that big a difference, certainly compared to the speed of doing the test, but you're supposed to do it, you know, at something like 200 or 150 something grams of weight. But I find, you know, I can get predictable results if I just pull it enough to take out the slack. You know, it shouldn't be like a piano wire, just, you know, just be reasonable, and you'll get a pretty reliable test. So, okay. I'm going to do the 12-degree edge first. See what kind of damage we did from the scraping. So that was 310, which was worse than most of the results, although we did get the one aberrant reading. So let me do one more too. I think maybe I'll go down below where we were doing the cutting before and just get the effect of all that scraping across the board. So I'll go to, you know, about the middle of the knife where we weren't doing much cutting earlier, but where we did scrape across the board. Oops, yeah, let's reset. Okay, and that one came in at 275. So let's test the other 17-degree edge in that same sort of middle section. Beep, beep, beep. And that came in at 330. So still worse than the 12-degree edge. So I would conclude that 12 degrees is still the better edge angle, even if you are sharpening for somebody who is not respectful of your edge. And with that, I'm done. See you next time.